Hello, welcome. So this is a free product on my website and on Podia, Solar Ingresses and Lunar Transits of 2023. So this freebie includes 84 astrology charts tracking the solar ingresses and lunar transits of 2023. The solar ingresses are the spring equinox, summer solstice, autumn equinox, and winter solstice. And then we'll also be tracking the new moon, the crescent moon, first quarter moon, gibbous moon, full moon, disseminating moon, third quarter moon, and the balsamic moon. So you'll basically get all of those charts for the remainder of the year, going all the way to January 7th, 2024. And then the purpose of this video is to explain how to use these charts with your natal chart. So I'm just going to walk through how you can utilize these charts. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just share my screen. And then I have a side-by-side of my natal chart and the spring equinox. And I'll show you how to basically track the transit with your natal chart. So you're going to need your natal chart, whether it's on astro.com or an app like Time Nomad or whatever astrology software you're using. If you don't know your time of birth, you can still use this free course to track your transits. The only thing that's going to be off is your moon, your houses, your angles. So rising, Imam Coeli, descendant, and midheaven. Those are all going to be questionable because we need the time to accurately depict those. But anything past the moon, so Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are all going to be in the same relative position, no matter what time you're born. So the moon does move really quick. It moves 13 degrees in a day. So the sun moves 1 degree every day. So anything past the moon is going to be relatively the same. The location that you're in will change the way the sky looks. So we're going to focus on uh, the first house or the ascendant to basically track how this works. So I'm going to share my screen. It's going to make more sense when I show you. Okay, so on the left, we have my natal chart, and I have an ascendant in Aries. So that's always going to be my first house. And then over here, we have the vernal equinox, or when Aries is in the first degree, or sorry, when the sun is in the first degree of Aries, or the first day of spring equinox. So this position of Aries right here, it's in the ninth house locally, but this is actually hitting my first house. So we could see all of these planets in current time are actually in my first house. So they're conjunct everything in my first house. The way that we're going to read these is with whole sign aspects and whole sign houses. So if you notice, every single sign and the house are the equal distance apart. So in Placidus or Koch, it's going to change the way the house is divided between the signs. But in whole sign, every single sign is a house. So it's just easier to learn that way. And then when we get to aspects, anything that's in the same house makes a conjunction, or it creates a collection of light. So that means that from this degree all the way to this degree, everything in here is creating a collection of light that's going to reflect onto the other houses. So the way that we would read this is this first house, everything in it is a conjunction. The next house to this direction and this direction, they're going to be semi-sextiles, which cause frustration. So neighbors cause frustration. neighboring houses. Next is this house here and this house here. These are sextiles to this first house. And then we go to this house and this house. These are squares to this first house. And then the next one would be these two fire signs. These would be trine the first house. So squares are tension, trines and sextiles are talents, gifts, ease. Next, we have this house here and this house here. So these are quincunx or in conjunct this first house here. That means that whatever is in this first house cannot see what's going on here or here, but it has to lean on the strengths of whatever's in these houses. And then the last one is an opposition. So straight across is Libra in the seventh house. This would be an opposition. So there's tension. There's an opportunity to learn something. But in order to learn, there needs to be mastery first. So that's how we're going to read these charts with whole sign aspects. So basically, if we were to go back over here, I can actually add a bi-wheel. Let's see, transits. The one moment. 3:20, 2:24 p.m. There we go. Okay, so now we can see everything in the same area. So this inner wheel is my natal chart. This outer wheel is this transit chart here. So when I told you that my ascendant is in Aries and this is my first house and all of this would be in my first house because it's in my natal chart in my first house, um, basically this is the same chart, just strewn on top of my natal chart. So Sun in my first house, Mercury in my first house, and Jupiter in my first house, creating a collection of light. So this is all the current transits, the current movement of the planets on the vernal equinox for 2023. This is the transits in my first house when I was born on the 13th of November in 1987. So everything in here would be conjunct each other. So Jupiter conjunct my natal Jupiter, Mercury conjunct my ascendant, Mercury conjunct my natal Jupiter, the Sun conjunct my north node, my rising, and my natal Jupiter. This is, again, whole sign aspects. In more advanced astrology, we would be looking at degrees and orbs and all the things. So just to start out, let's start with the basics of whole sign aspects. And it's going to get you used to seeing different patterns while looking at this wheel. So the other thing that I suggest that you start to look at is these aspect patterns in the center. There are little symbols on here in the PDFs and the charts, the 84 charts. It does have a legend. So on the first page is just the standard looking chart. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. And then on the second page, there's a key that will tell you what everything is. So here's the first page of the vernal equinox 2023 on March 20th at 2:24 p.m. And then if we scroll down, we have the symbols for the zodiac. So it'll tell you the symbols for the zodiac on the wheel. It'll tell you the chart points or the planets and luminaries and the theoretical points. So all of the placements here. And then we have aspect symbols. So everything in here. So I just went over the aspect symbols earlier, but we're going to go over it again with these, symbols. So conjunctions, they are a blend of power, but they can also be struggling for power depending on the relationship of the planets. Basically, like if the planets are happy where they're at, or if they're in signs that they rule, or the opposite signs. So um, next we got semi-squares. These are tension. So needing to find a solution to a problem. Sextile, creating ease, creating talents, making something an opportunity to have ease and grace and discovering things, discovering gifts, abilities. Squares create tension or challenges, so they give us structure and discipline and responsibility. Trines, similar to sextiles, they create talents and gifts, flow. Sorry, my voice is kind of going out. Sesquiquadrate. So I believe this is also needing to look at the strengths of where the placement is, where the two planets or points are communicating and the signs that they're in. Inconjunct. So needing to lean on the strengths because one of both of the placements can't see each other, but they can feel the energy. So it's like looking at things blindly, but needing to like focus on one specific part of the placement or the sign that it's in. Oppositions, something that's challenging that will lead to uh, embodying the energy of the challenge and creating something new with that energy. So while we're here, we'll go over chart points too. So the sun, our personality, the way we shine. The moon, our inner drive, our emotions, what compels us to do things. Mercury, thoughts, uh, merchants, intuition, and then Venus, values, beauty, material possessions. Mars, passion, uh, maturing wisdom, the young person that needs to grow up and needs to learn responsibility, needs to learn how to harness energy. This is also motivation. Jupiter, protection, expansion, gifts, celebration. I think of jovial, celebrating, dancing, singing, being merry, drinking wine, the finer things in life. Saturn, discipline, boundaries, responsibility, time, time management, long-term lessons. Uranus, revolution, spiritual planes, mystical planes, I think it's mysticism itself. Sorry, I said I think. You can look these up anywhere. Anyways, Uranus is seeing things from different perspectives, spirituality itself, um, and then Neptune is mystical planes, also psychedelics, also dreams, and things to do with water. Pluto, inner transformation, shadows, generations, legacies, fortunes, wealth, financial institutions. The lunar mean nodes. So mean nodes are more accurate than true nodes. So we reference the mean nodes here for this product. The north node is energy that's coming into your chart, karma that you're going towards, the direction of your life. And then the south node is energy going out of your chart, uh, karma from the past, the direction you're moving away from. And then ascendant, descendant. So the ascendant is how you arrive in the world's the horizon, descendant's the horizon too. Physical attributes, things to do with your appearance. And then descendant is what you're attracted to, who you're connected to, who you gravitate towards. The zodiac, I'm just gonna leave that. You could literally Google the meaning of the zodiac or look it up on social media or whatever. Or you can take my class. So on that note, we'll talk about that. I do have, let's see, I do have a class right now. So course number 1 Introduction to Astrology, your big three, and it goes over the elements, the modes, the zodiac signs, your sun, moon, rising, and descendant placements. Again, you don't need to know your time of birth. We can use 6 a.m. or 12 p.m. for your natal data if you don't know your time of birth, and you could still learn astrology. This first class is also including a tool to help you create horoscopes. So if you're creating horoscopes for social media or a magazine or a blog or a newsletter, there's a tool that will help you do that. The first course is also going to give you the ability to read other people's charts, but just the sun, moon, rising, and descendant placements. Course number 2 will start in May, and that's Intro to Lunar Astrology or Lunar Transits, Lunar Astrology. So in that course, we'll basically talk about the moon phases, the nodes, the lunar nodes that we went over right here, the apogee, the perigee of the moon, which are Black Moon Lilith and Priapus. And then there's something else. Oh, the tarot, how to track the moon with tarot. So very helpful. And then you'll also get a lunar calendar for a year that will include an I Ching gate key. So I will list every single I Ching gate, and you'll have a little calendar. And when that moon hits that gate, you'll know what it's doing inside of the aura. So you can track how the moon affects our auras, including the auras of other people. So that's course number 2. And then this little freebie course, which I just made this out of the blue, thinking like I just need to give something, give something away and introduce what I do. So we have 19 courses coming up. So 17 more courses will be developed over the next 2 years or 3 years. Basically, I will just continue to knock the list down one at a time and taking breaks in between. So when I do a course, I'll take about 2 to 3 weeks off, and then we'll start the next course. So thank you for joining me on this journey, and I am super excited to share my love for astrology with all of you. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments of this product. If you have the ability to, you can drop comments on my website. You can DM me on social media. You can email me. You can contact me basically with your questions specifically about this download. And yeah, thank you again.